guess giving you a chance is the only way of making any progress anymore. As long as I can keep my dumb opinion to myself, I'll save my breath for something else. Like when my heart falls from my chest and starts to roll across the floor. If you ask me right now, I tell you I'm out of answers or excuses for the actions that will always be behind me. So take a deep breath and hold it all in, but try to hold on as everything spins. Why is it growing up just makes me feel like throwing up, yeah. Guess I don't understand the need for insecurity. I've given everything I have for taking, but even circumstantial evidence can be enough to drive a sane man well beyond his point. If you ask me right now, I tell you I'm out of answers or excuses for the actions that will always be behind me. So take a deep breath and hold it all in, but try to hold on while everything spins. Why is it growing up just makes me feel like throwing up, yeah. If this is war, misinformation just became your strongest tool. But this seems so much more than lies I'm trying to confuse. If you ask me right now, I tell you I'm out of answers or excuses for the actions that will always be behind me. So take a deep breath and hold it all in, but try to hold on while everything spins. Why is it growing up just makes me feel like throwing up, yeah. I'm Andy Beltz. I sing and play guitar for the band Crime of the Century. Been playing music around St. Joe for the better part of a decade. The first band I played in here was a band called Stereo 7. Played drums for them for a few years. It's a pretty good time. I got tired of sitting in the back though, and so I decided to put together a new project and step up to the front. I've had a few punk bands here and there. Hooray for Me was one of the bigger bands I had around St. Joe. A couple local musicians, but just like any other band, kind of just ends up petering out after a while. If you're not trying to take it all the way to the top, then you kind of hit that point. I moved away for a while, lived in Iowa for a couple years, had a band up there that toured around. That was pretty cool, but a couple years ago I had a kid, so I kind of slowed things down. Getting back into music now with this new project, and after not playing for almost a year and a half, it really made me realize how important it is. Even if I'm just playing to a room of 15 of my friends, I have to be able to play music in order for me to be satisfied with my life at all. This is my new thing. We're playing our first show April 20th at the Rendezvous with a band called Cupcake. Should be a pretty good time. Originally, when I was young, 10, 11, 12, I didn't have a huge interest in music. I was into sports. I played football, I played baseball, all that. And one day, my mom brought home a 1956 Dan Electro U2 and this old 70s Fender Spring Verb amp that her boss had given her. And she was like, hey, my boss gave me this. He said that he thought you would like it. And I, of course, trashed it because I was a dumb little kid and had no idea what I had. I found out many years later that that's probably the most expensive piece of equipment I've ever owned. My mom presented the idea to me, and my sister was a big help. My sister gave me my first Green Day CD, and if I had never heard Dookie at 13 years old, I doubt I would be into music at all. She was a big part of it, and it just, it started out as a hobby, and then I realized that, this is something that if I want to take it seriously, I'm going to get a lot of joy out of this. It's not like, like sports where you have to be good or it's kind of a pain in your neck. This, you can be the worst guy on the street, and if you're happy with yourself, then it doesn't make a difference to anybody else. As long as you're singing what you want to do and playing the music that you like, then that can be enough. And that was a big part of the reason why I started playing music. In the past few years, I stayed out of the St. Joe music scene because all there was the Rendezvous. And if you didn't play there, then there was no choice. There was kids putting on all ages shows, and those were fun sometimes, but it got to a point to where, there'd be an all ages show once a month, and all these kids would get so excited, and then they'd go there and destroy everything, and eventually rental halls stopped letting people rent places out, and it seemed like it just kind of died out. When I left in 2007, I didn't even know of anybody putting on shows anymore. But when I came back, at the end of 2009, all of a sudden there's Hammerjacks, there's the Rendezvous, Cafe Acoustic is doing shows regularly. There's all these places in town that all of a sudden have just decided that apparently they were tired of not doing anything. And, the local media has started to pay a little more attention, which is a big help. Danny Phillips, that guy's been grinding that axe for, the last several years, trying to make people notice that St. Joe is here. And it's, it seems like it's really starting to work. It really does. It seems like people are starting to pay attention to the fact that there's good music here and there's places to go see it. You don't have to go to the same two places every week and hope that it's going to be a different band. Actually, if I didn't play music, I have no idea what I would be doing right now. If I didn't play music, I'd probably sit at home and play video games like everybody else around the Midwest. For me, there's nothing that's more satisfying that I can do with my time than sit down and write a song from start to finish. And when I get to the end of that, I feel like I've actually expressed myself in a way that, I'm gonna be happy that other people see what I have to say or how I feel about something. This has been One on One with Andy Beltz, and you're watching Tuning Fork TV.